Good morning, everybody. It's Matt from Flow. It's just gone 7 o'clock. Apologies for the lateness. Without any hesitation, let's just get going. What I want you to do today is just start with that we've got some sort of snap about us. So I appreciate it is early. Maybe we're not feeling it this Tuesday morning, but life doesn't stop, so neither do we. So as we start, what I want you to do is just start to understand that we can circle our hands and feet and get some of that tension out of our bodies. Some of that tension out of our bodies from the night before. Let's not be thinking about what's going to happen next. Let's just think about what's going to happen now. So, shake off hot enough feet. Shake off the feet. Apologies if you can't see this morning. Let's just shake off the feet. Shake off the legs. Shake off the wrists. Bring ourselves back to center. We've arrived. Welcome. So, what I'd like to go through today is a couple of alignment and balance exercises. So, if you've got anything handy that resembles a broom, doesn't have to resemble one. Probably all got one at home. So today we're just going to go through a couple of exercises that we can do that utilizes the pole. So the idea is that we're not doing anything too strenuous. We've obviously just woken up, or maybe we haven't, or maybe we're doing this later in the day, but we've got something that we can use as a resistance to help us balance. The objective of today is to understand that our balance can be improved greatly by working on a few factors that all comprise what balance is. And effectively, your balance becomes this is your balance. This is where most of the balance comes from. Is this bracing point in between? And if we imagine a squidgy surface, which is when our muscles aren't engaged, what happens is that surface we can't always add the tension to it. So in line with a good posture, balance is absolutely essential, but understanding that most of it comes from engaging of the core muscles. So stability and balance. What I'd like to show you now is if you get your shake off, we're going to take a kneeling position. Right knee. Maybe we're going to hold the broom above our head. So the idea is, can we just raise up, raise down? Can we see? So what we want to do? You want to raise? I'm going from one leg, and I'm keeping the broom above my head. Yeah. So let's try both legs. So the idea is we're isolating our arms. What tends to happen is when we stand up, we tend to use our arms to stand up and give us that propulsion. So just a couple of engagements. Now, if we're able to go on the ground, what we want you to be able to do is to put the broom behind your head. So we're kneeling. And let's not forget, this is about continuous motion. So the idea is that we're just going to start to feel when you point the broom to the right, point the broom to the left, and you point your hips through your body to the other side. And the idea is we're trying to get some sort of movement, gradual movement. And obviously these exercises can be done at your leisure, but every day, small differences over time add up to massive changes. And the idea is what we're doing now is building up a platform, some habits. We're getting our body used to doing things, maybe moving slightly differently. So it might seem funny that we're using a broom to do this, but the idea is that all our muscle groups can be affected. So let's go do some, let's get our balance again. Apologies for that. So how much balance have we actually got nowadays? Where we like? So using a broom, you'll obviously find out over time if you've got a dominant leg, right or left balance. The idea is what we want to do is put the broom in the ground. Try bracing your core. Now the idea is stand on one leg. Now it sounds a simple thing to do, but the idea is when you stand on one leg, generally what happens is you tend to tilt a bit. The idea is to put the broom there for support to start with, so you've got a steady base, you're not going to fall over, and lift one leg off the floor. Now, depending on how much mobility you've got, strength you've got in your standing leg, lift this one off the thing. If you don't need the broom, don't take it away. But the idea is that you feel confident and assured that progression will come, and so will balance. We can't undo things that we've done before, but balance going forward, we can definitely do something about. So maybe just with one leg. Keep this in hand, just in case you need to put it down again. But the balance aspect of it now is about you concentrating and starting to feel your way into the day and understand that what you've got today is your opportunity to tell your body that you want to do things a little bit differently, or you start to engage or think a bit differently. So we're on one leg, pressure's going through, nice and tall. It's all what we start to do is think about all of our muscles together working cohesively. We're all part of a chain. So we want to engage all the back part here. This is our posterior chain muscles. If you want to understand, we've got to work on the front and on the back. At this point, by standing on one leg and doing something at the same time as talking, you sort of start to forget what you're doing. So however you feel comfortable, remember your broom is there for balance. If you do go one side or the other, it's there to support you. You stay on one leg and rotate legs and change. Put your stick down. Maybe it's just needed for the beginning, and you think all these little exercises together are all little exercises that help you. And I suppose as we start to move into the summer, people will start to be going on holidays maybe a bit more. You start to think, what do you need to go on holiday? Well, you need to drive somewhere sometimes. So maybe let's have a think about what we need to do with how do we get there? And it sounds a silly thing, but often overlooked is the ankle joint. Is the understanding that our ankles are the ones that basically keep our feet together, but they're the engagement point. So maybe we should give some love to our ankles quickly today, just very briefly. Have a think about the importance of the ankle joint and what we use it primarily for. And I think sometimes what we tend to do is neglect and forget that our ankles are something that are really important to us. What do we use them for? We use them when we drive. So as well as doing two things here, what we need to do is we can sit up relatively straight. Obviously, our back position is going to be determined by our posture, which is dictated by our stomach muscles and our spinal alignment. So if we've got our feet heels from where they are, if we imagine that we use this every day, what's this foot floor? Accelerator in a car. So maybe sometimes as we get a bit older, we understand that we forget to work our feet, we forget to work our heels, and we forget to use the flexion. So what I want you to do is to start to, maybe we can't touch our toes yet, that's okay. But what we can do is start to pull our feet back, pull your toes back, sit up straight. Imagine we can balance a book on our head. So we're trying to improve posture, but equally at the same time, we're trying to stretch from the bottom of our heels up the bottom. So we're using up the gastrocs here. This is the side muscle, the anterior tibialis. Both of these muscles are used to pull your feet back and support the weight. Often underutilized and neglected. If we're not cyclists, primarily, what we're not doing is we're not using our feet. So let's paddle. Let's use the feet to paddle. Maybe do some rotations, some internal rotations. And next, so feet together, feet apart. Sounds silly, but the control that you have on a vehicle and the accelerator pedal coming on your right foot can make a massive difference. So, avoiding cramps, rotating it, using it to, it's not one of those things that you can overlook and think, I don't need to worry about that. Of course you do. So it's an ankle joint. It's needed. We need it to use the accelerator, and most importantly, the brake. So avoid cramps. Let's have a look at what we're doing. So maybe put your fingers on the end of your toes if you can comfortably. This is a month's worth of progression, and we'll obviously build on that. But at the moment, keep moving. Don't stop moving when I'm talking. You move when you like, but the idea is that we're doing a continuous flow. And at the beginning of this, what we're starting to do is we're starting to learn that all our body will respond differently to the stimulus placed upon it. So when we add resistance to something, we make things more difficult, but we also give us the opportunity to know that we're testing ourselves a little bit more. We're carrying a little bit more weight. The idea now, we're just lifting our feet towards our pelvis without our hands. We're engaging the core to make ourselves sit up. We're trying to do things that are going to benefit us every day. We're trying to normalize some of the actions. Say normalize, maybe going out throughout your day to day, be a bit more aware of what your ankles can do for you. But more importantly, what you can do for your ankles. Neglected, so maybe a bit of a stretch, pull them back, push them forwards. There's a couple of really great stretches that we can do. So the idea now is just maybe one foot. Can we get our knees up to our chest? How we feel? What's the tempo like? Are we engaging anything? Is it easy? Any clicks, clonks? Perfectly natural. So if we warmed our ankles up, we're aware that there is that need to understand that we're there, and equally need to understand that we could do something about it and change. So we're going to work from our ankles in this position. So what I want you to do is I want you to hands behind you, give yourself some support. So from behind, we're not so concerned, we don't want to be slumped over on the shoulders. We want to be up and back. Nice positions. We've got our hands behind us like this. And what we're going to do, put one hand up, one foot up, and the other foot up. And just push your bum to your feet and back again. So foot down, up, up. We're just trying to prime all the different bits and pieces in our body so that we want to work together with you today, not against you. Those aches, niggles, maybe we'll start to just realign them. So the idea is twist to the left, right knee up, right knee down. We're starting to get some play in our body. The other great thing a broom allows you to do, apart from sweep and clean the house, is to allow you the confidence to potentially move your shoulders around a bit. So what I'm suggesting now is we're making some nice circles in the sand. You know, it's our analogy at the beach that we use to focus our attention. So if we put a point on the sand, a point on the ground, nice and stable. We've got our back position, natural spine arch. We don't want to be slumped over on our shoulders. Look at the difference in the body position. So that's your shoulders down. So we're going to tilt the pelvis forward and up. We're going to sit back into it. So we've now got a natural spine, natural curve to our spine. The idea with the broom is nothing more than just to go clockwise to start with. So we're going to move around. Now, if you feel comfortable, you can go lower. Way through this, and it's obviously something that you can do in time, at your own leisure, but you've got the broom to do it. And the idea is it's going to keep constant tension on your legs, but equally give you the confidence to understand that at any point in time, you can stand up and it's gone. So it's a safe environment to practice in. If we're going forwards and backwards, round and round in circles, we're starting to warm up our shoulder joint, our glenohumeral joint as well. That's around the hips. And maybe start to move the hips from side to side. Maybe lean a little bit more than you would do. Let's not forget we've got the security of the broom the whole time to give us that stretch, that confidence to know that we're able to do things. So let's start pushing it away. Legs in the same position, back straight, so legs pushing away. So the idea is get slightly lower each time we go down. And we're using the broom, so we've got that extension there. Get a nice stretch underneath the bottom of the lats. Latissimus dorsi muscles along the back, lovely muscles to use. With the pulling muscles, we don't always engage them. Maybe you want to go left and right with a bit of control this time. So with the broom in front of you, let's go left and right. This time what you will notice is that you can go to the edges. So you want to keep our standing leg straight. So if we shoot to the left, our left leg stays straight, our right leg bends. The idea is that we remain more of an upright, we remain straighter. Obviously waking up early in the morning, our alignment is a bit out. So the idea now is that we're just trying to work on our stability, our balance. So if you put the broom in front of you and do what I'm doing, you're reaching, you're bending. Remember, all the whole time, the idea is not to curve the spine. The idea is to strengthen the spine. So we're strengthening these lumbar muscles to pull our back up straight. Give us longevity in our spine, longevity in our day. That's the broom. Humble object, great for using around the house, but equally great for support, balance, and coordination. One of the other things that you can do is, why don't we use the broom more? You know, the action that you have when you brush around the house is one of those things that sometimes neglected. Give yourself, take your brush outside, go on the driveway, give a spruce up. Great action. If we think about the action that when we're using a broom, the idea is that we've got that drive. So we're going to be using front stabilizer muscles in our quads to start pushing forwards. And if we start to recognize that the shape of it, I'm using my left arm to hold, I'm leaning into it, we can create a massive amount of force. But equally, we're starting to mobilize. For the whole time as we're trying to understand what we're doing is trying to release some tension and trying to build some balance, trying to build some coordination into your day with some practical items. It doesn't have to be a broom. At least it's something strong. So I hope that's been useful. Progression will come, balance will come, coordination will come. But if you don't practice, you're going to look back and maybe regret the times that you didn't practice enough. So let's create a constant habit. That's the Broom. Tomorrow, I'm not quite sure what exercises we're going to be doing, but I'm going to find something around the house. So maybe we might incorporate some sort of stair work. The idea of these things is that we can have this package together. So at the end of the month, what you've got is you've got a better idea of the understanding of your body, your limitations, and maybe what you thought was easy. It isn't as easy as you first thought or encountered, especially when we start to learn about how we can start to release some of the tension held within our muscles and muscle fascia, trying to break things down gently and trying to give us some more mobility. I'm Matt from Flow. Have a great day. I look forward to catching up.